Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Montreal Canadiens franchise mode. So in last episode, we kind of started the simulation a bit. We did already 10 games before that, but we started up the season simulation for 2024-25, and it's kind of been an interesting season. So I'll show you how we've been simulating so far. So basically in 2024, we were really struggling. As you can see, the start of the season, we just lost a bunch of games, and then we won some, and it was kind of back and forth throughout the rest of those few months. But then we made a trade acquiring Christopher Tanev from the Vancouver Canucks, and he's helped us out quite a bit. And it's kind of weird because we won 7 in a row, then we lost 1, and then we would win 3 more straight games. So basically 10 of 11 games right there. And we just would continue that all the way into this month, all the way to the trade deadline, where we've won a lot of games and lost very little. And then also Peter Mrazek's picked up his pace a lot better because he started the season off really slow, but he's been really good since like the trades. So I'm really excited to see if we can make the playoffs. We don't have the guaranteed playoff spot probably because this division is really tight and the Eastern Conference is tight in general. Like I'll show you guys quickly the standings. We are 3 points above the 2 teams that are outside of a playoff spot at the moment. So it is a very tight race, especially in our own division. So we are going to probably be making a trade at least for an offensive-minded forward because at the moment we kind of have, like, we're really good defensively it seems like, but we're just not very good offensively. Like, we're one of the worst offensive-based teams in the entire league. So we're going to be trying trading for Cam Atkinson. He was on the block, and I think he could help us out and bring some of that offensive punch to our lineup that we need. So currently he's been really good in Columbus, and he's only got 1 year left. As you can see, 1 year at 5.875, so we are going to have to give up somebody with a decent cap hit in order to get him. So let's see if we could get Cam Atkinson from the Blue Jackets. In real life, I would never want to see Cam Atkinson in a Montreal Canadiens jersey, but in this, definitely I would. So he's got not a whole lot of trade value, but let's see what we could give up in order to get him. So at the moment, our forward core, who is kind of an extra at the moment. So I think we have a lot of centers, so we could probably part with somebody like Ryan Poehling, potentially. He doesn't have much trade value though, and they don't want him. Who do they actually want though? I was looking at this before, but I couldn't really find much of a trade that I was comfortable with. There was some prospects I was willing to maybe give up. Somebody like Myzak. Yeah, we could give up Myzak, but within that, obviously, yeah, we'd be still over maximum cap by only like 400,000. So maybe I could get them. Maybe I could actually throw in a roster player into this trade as well if there's somebody with low trade value that they want. No, not really. Who is somebody I could give up? Or I could try and see if they will retain on Cam Atkinson, even though it's for this season only. Let's get them to retain 500K. Still, they would be over salary cap apparently. Okay, so this one might work. Nope, still not. Yeah, I might not be able to get them to retain salary. Okay, so we're going to actually have to give up some cap in order to get him, which means giving away some roster player for a guy who's only got 1 year left, which is a bit risky. I don't want to give up Gunler. I don't really feel like moving Yolonen. But Gunler is kind of not going to reach his potential, I think. Don't feel like giving up Peltier. Oh yeah, I was looking at maybe giving up Lehkonen. But Lehkonen, trading away Lehkonen would be kind of a downgrade to an extent. But then again, Cam Atkinson's a better offensive forward than Lehkonen is. You know what? I'm going to try Lehkonen, I think. Yeah, I think I'll do Lehkonen. Because I know you guys probably like Lehkonen, like I know a lot of Habs fans do, but it is a bit of a downgrade because we're getting more cap back and we're getting 1 less overall. However, Lehkonen, like I said, he's not an offensive-minded forward. He's more of like a defensive guy. He had a really good season last year, but this year he's not on pace for a good year. But if you look at like Cam Atkinson, who's been playing on Columbus, he's been playing really good. Like, he's got 52 points this year. He's more offensively minded, so he could definitely help us out. I don't know if he would fit on our power play unit, but yeah, let's just do Lehkonen for Cam Atkinson. I think this would work. We might be able to snag something else as part of this deal, just because Lehkonen's technically the better forward. Let's see if we could throw in a 5th round pick into this. So Atkinson in the 5th for Lehkonen, and that is rejected. So this might work if we get a, let's do a 6th for next year. Still a bit low. Okay, maybe we'll just do Cam Atkinson for Lehkonen straight up, and that is accepted. So I know that's probably an interesting deal, but I think Cam Atkinson could help us out in the offensive zone, which is where we need help more. We don't really necessarily need a defensive forward like Lehkonen, so I think Cam Atkinson could help us out a bit. Hopefully he could help us get a playoff spot. So we are going to move Peltier over to the left wing in that sense, and then Cam is going to slot in right here. And he actually gives them a chemistry boost, which is good. And we'll also put Cam on the power play because he's a good power play player. Even though I don't think he fits our power play system that much. We'll still give him some power play time. And then we're going to have to try and find a trade for Gustav Olofsson, just because Gustav Olofsson's not going to like his ice time. So Gustav Olofsson, I could probably trade him away for just a pick, because I don't really think we need another. I could trade for a better depth defenseman maybe than Uyghur. Who wants Olofsson? So Dallas wants Olofsson. Do they have a depth defenseman I could use? Yeah, they do. They have like Luke Snugard. They also have Lajoie. Lajoie is a top 6. Snugard is a top depth defenseman. How about Aho? He's got 3 years left. I don't like that. Thomas Harley doesn't grow at all, unfortunately. They also have Gleason. Who is this guy? Benjamin Gleason, top 6 defenseman, but he's got good defensive stats. He'd be interesting to bring in, but I don't know if he's listed as a top 6. I don't think it would work. And Dallas would be over salary cap with that trade, so we can't really trade him to Dallas. Let's see about Florida. Yeah, maybe Florida has a depth defenseman we could take. Ryan Hagg's already 30 years old. He is listed as a depth defender, but he does not have good defensive awareness. We want somebody that could help us out in defensive zone. Josh Mahura might be actually good. He's a bit worse, but he's a depth defenseman. We might be able to squeeze it in something else. So Mahura, and let's go with a draft pick. Let's go with a 3rd rounder. I don't know if that's a bit too high. Mahura in a 3rd for Olofsson. Too far off. Yeah, we might not be able to get a 3rd. We could probably get a 4th rounder. Mahura in a 4th for Olofsson, and that is accepted. So bye-bye Olofsson, and Mahura is our new depth defenseman. So that's good. And now I think our team might be better. I don't know if it's better or not. Hopefully this team could still make the playoffs the way they've been playing lately. Like, I don't know if that's going to screw up our chemistry and stuff like that, acquiring Atkinson. But let's see how we simulate for the next little bit of the season. And hopefully we can clinch a playoff spot. Okay, so we got 2 more games this month. Let's see if we could get some wins together. Come on, Peter. Get some wins between those pipes. And we win 1 game and lose the other in a shootout. So still some points, so that's good. We got a lot of Western Conference games coming up, it looks like, this week. Or these next 2 weeks. Let's see if we can get 3 wins here. Tampa, Vancouver, and Vegas. And we lose to Tampa. And we beat Vancouver in a shootout. And Vegas, we beat them as well. So we have 80 points now, and the last playoff spot for a team that's out of it is 72. So we might be getting close to clinching. If we could win at least 50% of the games we have left, I think we might be able to. So 4 games this week, another 2 Western Conference games. See if we can string together some more wins. We beat Anaheim 3-1, and we also beat Florida 4-3. We lose to St. Louis in overtime and lose to New Jersey in regulation, but we are now top of our division with like, how many more games to go? I think it's like 12 games. 11 more games left. But we have 85 points, which is currently the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference, surprisingly. Let's see if we could get more wins down this stretch. So we got 3 more games this week. One is against the tough Dallas team. And we beat Detroit 2-1. Good job, boys. We lose to Dallas 5-1. And we lose to Tampa 6-4. That's not good. Yeah, we need to get some wins because we are only 4 points above the Rangers, who are out of a playoff spot at the moment. Let's go 1 game at a time. Game against Columbus. And we lose 1-0. That is not good. Let's maybe make some line changes, because we are kind of playing with fire a bit. We have some teams that are just barely out of a playoff spot, and they're only a couple points back of us. So we need to make sure we get these wins down the stretch. So let's reunite Gallagher on that top line. Move Caulfield back down, even though Caulfield's been scoring a lot of goals. Let's see if we could kind of get those lines back to maybe back to what they were doing last season. I don't know. See if we get some more wins here. We need wins. Game against Boston. Please win, boys. And we win 6-2. There you go. That's what I want to see. Game against New Jersey. Let's get a win here as well. And Zach Bogosian is on waivers. He's a bit too old for me. Yeah. Don't need Zach Bogosian. And we lose to New Jersey. That is not good. Let's go to this game against Detroit. Take a look at the standings quickly. So we're only still a couple points above that team that's out of a playoff spot. So we got 5 games left. We need to pretty much win at least 3 of them, at least in my opinion. Let's see if we can get those wins. So game against Detroit, we beat them last time we played them, and we win again against them 6-5. We're getting close to clinching a playoff spot. 4 more games left, and they're all Eastern Conference games. First one against the Canes. Sorry if you just heard a burp. It was my throat. We lose 4-3 in regulation. That's not good. How's the standing shaping up for the last 3 games? So we got 91 points. The last playoff team currently has 87 points. The ones that are outside of it also have 87 points. So they're only like 4 points back of us. So if we win a game, I think we pretty much clinch. So we got to beat Philadelphia here. Come on, boys. And we do beat them, and I think that might clinch us. Let's just wait for the dialogue box if it is the case, which it is not. But I don't know if it did say it on the side. I didn't look at that. And it did clinch us a playoff spot. So we have made the playoffs, which is great, because I didn't expect this year for us to really make the playoffs. But somehow we managed to, despite having a weak defensive core and not the greatest goaltending. And then we also beat Florida there. And last game of the season, Jacob Olafson's been injured in the minors. Let's just go replace player. And we lose to Buffalo, but we finished with 95 points on the season, 44, 31, and 7. Not too bad of a year. Did every other team play their games yet? Yes, they did. Okay. Let's take a look at our player stats for the season, and then also the league player stats, and then we'll take a look at the standings, and then see who we're up against in the first round of the playoffs. So, centerman Jesperi Kotkaniemi had 65 points, and he was a plus 17. Great year for him, kind of in the plus-minus category, but yeah, down year in terms of point production. Better year defensively, though, so that's fine. Max Domi, 45 points. I think he might be on his way out soon because he's got another year left. I don't know if he's really worth that $6 million to put up only 45 points. He's definitely on the downgrade for point-wise, because I think a few years ago he had like 60-something. Yeah, he went from 80 points to 3 seasons ago down to 45 points, so his production has definitely declined a lot. Morgan Frost, 38 points. Ryan Poehling, 37 points. We should probably start giving this guy a bit more ice time, I think. Suzuki, only 27 points. Left wingers, Lafreniere had 73 points, so that's, I think, his best season yet. No, it's his second best season, but he's got 302 career points so far. Pelletier, 29 points, not too bad. How's his career looking? 2 years, and this was his worst season so far. Averaging around the same amount of ice time. Right wing wise, Cam Atkinson had 64 points, but how much did he have with us? He had 12 points in 20 games. So I think that was a good pickup in a way. He helped us out definitely to get into the playoffs. 7 goals, 5 assists for 12 points. He was only a +2, but he managed to get 12 points, which is good. Most of them were on the power play. Well, actually 3 of them were. Yeah, not a bad pickup, I think. Gallagher, 57 points. Caulfield, 54 points. Ylonen, 26. And Gunler, 17 in his rookie season. In terms of defense, Brady Shea, 50 points. Montour, 35 points. Dermott, 23. Tanev, 22 points. And how good was he with us, though, in terms of plus-minus? He was a +17, so definitely a good pickup, I think. He definitely helped us out. Shillington, 21 points. Lambos, 11 points in his rookie season. And Uyghur had no points. Goaltending-wise, Mrazek was really good for the most part. And then Carey Price kind of picked it up, actually, near the end of the season, looks like. But his wins are still a bit down. Let's take a look at the entire league for points, see who led the league. Last time I looked, it was like Connor McDavid. Yeah, Connor McDavid, 120 points in 82 games, 56 goals and 64 assists. Who led in goals? It was Amrit Anderson of the New York Rangers, 58 goals for him. Best defenseman for points was John Klingberg with 78. Best goaltender this season was Philip Grubauer, 47 wins. So the Colorado Avalanche are still doing really well. Okay, so let's take a look at the standings, see what we did good and what we did bad at, and then maybe we'll make some tweaks for our lineups going into the playoffs accordingly. So, entire league, so the Colorado Avalanche finished first. We finished where in the standings? We finished 11th, so that's not too bad. Goals for per game, we were still not the greatest at all. We were one of the worst offensive teams. 2.91 goals for per game. Our goals against, though, on the other hand, it stayed around the same. It was 4th best in the entire league, 2.83 goals against. Our power play percentage was the 3rd worst in the league, so it improved, but still not that good. And then our penalty kill was still really good. So we're still a really good defensive team. We're just not a good offensive team. So hopefully we could get that going in the postseason. We had 3 shorthanded goals. We were really good on home ice, but we sucked on the road. Okay, so let's take a look at who we're going up against in the first round of the playoffs. And then that'll be it for this episode, I think. Actually, we have to check Olli Rinne's stats too, because I have not checked that yet. So, we're going up against the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. So, a team that didn't do much better than us. And it was a divisional team as well. So, let's see what Buffalo is looking like. Okay, so they have Skinner, Eichel, and Reinhardt still. Kreider, Mittelstadt, and Braden Shen. So, they definitely have some very good offensive pieces in that top 6. And then on the third line, they have Okposo, Henrique, and Peary. Fogle, Cousins, and O'Connor. So pretty good lineup for the most part. At least it's got like good, it's got good depth, I think. Defensively, they have Dahlin and Jokiharju, Colin Miller and Patrick Nemeth, and then on the top 6, they have Kronholm and Kukkonen. In terms of goaltending, they have Luukkonen and Casey DeSmith. So they're not necessarily the strongest team, but they're still pretty deep. And in depth-wise, they have Sam Gagner, Tage Thompson, and Matt Calvert, who I was actually thinking about trading for before. So that's kind of interesting. So that is Buffalo's lines. Hopefully we have the chance to beat them. Let's take a look at the progress reports and also take a look at Olli Rinne's stats for his first season in the AHL. So in the NHL, anybody modified a lot. Carson Lambos is up to an 82. It's good. And that's it for NHL growth, really. And then in the minors, let's go by overall. Wait, is Josh Maher actually in the minors? I traded for Josh Maher, and I think he's just sitting there in... Yeah, he's sitting there in the AHL, so we might have to call him up if we need to. Like, if we need somebody good on defense to come in instead of somebody else, we'll put in Maher, I think. So, McEachern's up to a 76. Might be an NHL backup by next year or the year afterwards. Salmelainen's up to a 75. Spanin at 74. Bell 74, not bad. How did his first year go down there? 36 points. Pretty good. Minus 38, though. Zimmerman's up to a 74. How did his season go in Katie Bathurst? 38 points. Missed quite a bit of games, actually. Must have been injured. Nick Grinnis is another one of our good prospects. He's a medium top 9, but he's got good stats. 81 points in 50 games in Hamilton. Interesting. Boris Zubov didn't play at all this year down there in the minors. And Rinne did not grow at all so far, but he probably had a good season. Yeah, 32 points in 73 games. Minus 25, which is probably one of the best for his team, but still 32 points. I'm excited to see how he grows for next season. And then I think that's almost it. Paxpu in Sault Ste. Marie, 80 points in 55 games. And that is pretty much it. I think actually 2 more prospects. Purcell, 13 points only this season. And then Mr. Bruce Swift, who we drafted last year, 61 points in the United States. Not too bad, and he grew quite a bit. A couple other prospects as well, but not as good. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Montreal Canadiens franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the first round of the playoffs where we actually have home ice against the Buffalo Sabres. And if we could see maybe if we could get to that second round. I know our team's not the strongest, but they do have a lot of willpower. And maybe if our offense starts to go and our defense still plays like it did during the season, maybe we have a chance to do something special. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.